All right, I would like everybody to be seated because we will be starting the press conference. Thank you. So, welcome to the press conference following the 10th meeting of the EU-Ukraine Association Council. The High Representative Kaja Kallas will take the floor. She'll be also followed by the Prime Minister of Ukraine, Denys Shmyhal, and then by the European Commissioner for Enlargement, Marta Kos. We will then take a few questions from you. High Representative, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, everybody. Prime Minister and dear Denys, it's a pleasure to host the 10th Association Council with Ukraine, and my first also with you. So I, of course, wish it was under different circumstances, but it is under circumstances where Russia is still waging a war of aggression against Ukraine, and it shows no signs of abating. Since Ukraine accepted the non-conditional ceasefire, Russia's attacks have only increased. Last weekend, we saw the deadliest single attack on Ukrainian children since the start of the full-scale invasion. So our condolences for that. Ukraine is fighting a war that only Russia wants to continue. The urgency of international support to Ukraine is also very clear. As President of Ukraine recently reiterated, Ukraine urgently needs a large caliber ammunition. 2 million rounds will be our contribution in this regard. We know that it is available on the market. We just have to get our act together. The EU and our member states can deliver this. So already this year, since we started reaching out to member states, Ukraine is receiving more than 1 million rounds, either in orders or in pledges. And I will definitely continue to work to reach this 2 million rounds this year. In parallel, Ukraine will soon receive the rest from the first tranche of windfall profits. It is 1.4 billion euro from Russian immobilized assets. We aim for the second tranche, 2.1 billion euro, to be delivered gradually from the end of this month. The bulk of this, 1 billion euro, will support your own defense industry. In the longer term, we are working towards the integration of the Ukrainian and EU defense industries. Companies in the European Union have a lot to learn from Ukraine in this regard. This includes from Ukraine's ability to build a thriving and innovative drone industry while under attack, and from your strong industrial base that you built by encouraging hundreds of defense startups. Our cooperation, of course, goes beyond defense. Over the last decade, the European Union and Ukraine have become closer and closer. We see this today, for example, in your determination to fight corruption. We see this in the fact that less than 10 years, the EU has become Ukraine's largest trading partner, which shows that our companies believe in Ukraine. We also see this in Ukraine's alignment of the Ukrainian foreign policy with the EU common foreign and security policy. And today we signed also 5 new agreements with Ukraine. These cover everything from rebuilding Ukraine's energy infrastructure to participating in our Copernicus satellite program. Since the last EU-Ukraine Association Council, we have also made good progress in screening process of Ukrainian legislation for compatibility with the European law, and this is the first stage of accession negotiations. So, of course, Commissioner Kos will go in more detail about this. And there are no shortcuts on the path of Ukrainian membership in the European Union. But Ukraine, even in the middle of the war, has shown time and time again its dedication to the European path and the reforms. So, dear Denys, again, it's a pleasure to welcome you here in Brussels for the Association Council, and thank you for this meeting today. It was already very clear, like the member states reiterated, your future is in the European Union. So we continue to work for this, and we also continue to looking forward greeting you as a member of the European Union one day. Thank you.
Prime Minister.
Шановна пані високий представник, дорога Кая, шановна пані комісар, дорога Марта, шановні присутні. Сьогодні ми провели результативне 10-те засідання Ради Асоціації України-ЄС. Вкотре переконались в тому, що всебічна підтримка Європейського Союзу, політична, військова, фінансова, залишається незмінною. Щиро вдячний високому представнику Каї Каллас, комісару Марті Кос за їх лідерство, за особисту залученість, за непохитну солідарність з Україною. Під час засідання Ради Асоціації та двосторонніх зустрічей ми обговорили виклики, які стоять перед Україною через російську агресію, що триває. Ми вітаємо амбітні плани та ініціативи ЄС щодо переозброєння Європи та посилення військової підтримки України вже в 2025 році. Для нас важливо, що розбудова оборонних спроможностей континенту відбудеться у тісній співпраці з українською оборонною індустрією, що вона буде враховувати потреби України на полі бою. Вдячні також за високу оцінку наших зусиль у впровадженні реформ. Уряд України націлений на проведення ефективних змін євроінтеграційного процесу і економічної інтеграції в єдиний ринок Європейського Союзу. Прагнемо нарощувати динаміку євроінтеграції, і я вірю, що Україна може досягти вагомих результатів не за роки, а за місяці. Зможемо зробити всю домашню роботу для того, щоб відразу після завершення війни стати повноправним членом Євросоюзу. Очікуємо на проведення міжурядової конференції після рішення Ради ЄС про відкриття кластеру 1 основи процесу вступу до ЄС. Загалом на 2025 рік ми щиро готові і розраховуємо на те, що всі 6 кластерів перемовин будуть відкриті. Україна дякує Європейському Союзу за фінансову підтримку. Сьогодні Ukraine Facility є основним фінансовим інструментом посилення та відновлення України. Із понад 150 умов плану України для Ukraine Facility на 24-27 роки вже виконали 36. Нещодавно отримали черговий транш в 3,5 мільярди євро, що сприяє макрофінансовій стабільності нашої держави. Також сьогодні за результатами наших домовленостей Європейський Союз виділяє Україні ще 1 мільярд євро, забезпечений доходами від російських заморожених активів. Таким чином, з початку року загальна сума фінансування, наданого Євросоюзом Україні за рахунок доходів від цих активів, сягне вже 5 мільярдів євро. Сподіваємося отримати від наших європейських союзників ще понад 13 мільярдів євро до кінця цього року в межах ініціативи «Ера». Водночас ми закликали наших європейських партнерів посилити спільну роботу над правовим механізмом щодо повної конфіскації російських заморожених активів. За останньою оцінкою Світового банку, відновлення України буде коштувати понад 500 мільярдів євро, і дуже принципово, аби саме російські кошти стали основним джерелом цієї відбудови. Сьогодні також обговорили наявний інструментарій угоди про асоціацію, прагнемо поєднати його з переговорним процесом щодо членства України в ЄС. Таким чином отримаємо низку переваг від інтеграції до внутрішнього ринку Європейського Союзу ще до приєднання до співтовариства, і це теж для нас надзвичайно важливо. Йдеться про подальшу лібералізацію торгівлі, збереження обсягів і динаміки торгівлі між Україною і Євросоюзом. Це взаємовигідний процес, від якого виграє і Україна, і Європейський Союз. Очікуємо продовження угоди між Україною та ЄС про вантажні перевезення автомобільним транспортом до кінця 2025 року. Таким чином, українським перевізникам і далі не потрібні будуть окремі дозволи. І окремо хочу подякувати за шляхи солідарності, які Європейський Союз створив, власне, у відповідь на виклики блокування Чорного моря Росією. Вони дійсно врятували і економіку і аграрний сектор України, і багато країн, які потребували української продукції, зокрема з точки зору харчової безпеки. Ще одна наша ціль – це приєднання до угоди АККА, ініціювання офіційної оцінки ЄС щодо виконання експертних рекомендацій – важливий крок в цьому напрямку. Нашим незмінним пріоритетом також є отримання режиму внутрішнього ринку з ЄС у секторі електронних комунікацій і поступова інтеграція в єдиний цифровий ринок Євросоюзу. Прагнемо вже найближчим часом приєднатись до політики ЄС «Roam like at home», а також отримати взаємне визнання електронних довірчих послуг. В цьому контексті вітаємо підписання оновленого доповнення до угоди про асоціацію між Україною та ЄС. Очікуємо на подальшу оцінку Єврокомісією нашого національного законодавства у сфері роумінгу. Вітаємо також поглиблення співпраці між Україною та ЄС у сфері космосу. Сьогодні ми підписали угоду про участь України в кількох важливих компонентах космічної програми ЄС. Також Україна приєдналась до договору про спільні закупівлі заходів медичного захисту. Зможемо отримувати критично важливі медзасоби на вигідних умовах. Крім того, досягли важливих домовленостей про відновлення дії угоди про наукове і технологічне співробітництво. Таким чином, Україна та ЄС роблять конкретні рішучі кроки до спільного майбутнього. Лише разом ми зможемо примножити наші сили, наші ресурси, наші можливості. Лише разом відповімо на численні виклики 21 століття. Лише разом будемо у безпеці і гарантуємо мир і процвітання для всіх європейців. Важливо, що Україна і Європа єдині як ніколи. І за це щиро дякую шановній пані президентці Єврокомісії Урсулі фон дер Ляєн, шановним пані Каллас та пані Кос, усім єврокомісарам, а також усім друзям і партнерам України в Євросоюзі. Рухаємося далі до членства України в ЄС, до сильної Європи, до нових перспектив для наших людей та для наших майбутніх поколінь. Дякую за вашу увагу. Дякую.
Thank you very much, Prime Minister. Commissioner Kos, the floor is yours.
Thank you. For me, today's meeting is more than just a formal occasion. It is a reaffirmation of our deep and enduring partnership. And the discussions reaffirm that we have made abundantly clear that European support for Ukraine is not only a duty, it is a long-term strategic investment in security and safety of Europe as the continent. We are the largest and most stable supporter of Ukraine, mobilizing as of today 144 billion since the start of Russia's war of aggression. And this support covers humanitarian relief, economic aid, military equipment, and assistance to the millions of Ukrainians who found refuge across Europe. The Ukraine facility, already mentioned, underpinned by the Ukraine plan, is driving forward reconstruction and modernization, going hand in hand. To date, nearly 20 billion has been disbursed, and we stand ready to provide up to 9 billion more this year as Ukraine advances critical reforms. And just today, under the G7's ERA initiative, we are disbursing €1 billion in macro-financial assistance, bringing this year's total to 5 billion, with around 13 billion to follow. This is more than aid. It is really investment in Ukraine's future and in Europe's security and prosperity. Despite war, Ukraine's trade with the EU has grown for the fourth consecutive year, a remarkable achievement that shows the resilience of Ukraine in times of adversity. Today, we welcomed an extension of the EU-Ukraine road transport agreement until the end of 2025, we heard, and the continued work on smart tachograph recognition. These are not technicalities. They are tangible steps that bring Ukraine closer to the EU market. In fact, Ukraine is not waiting for membership to begin acting as a member. Progress on the mutual recognition of technical standards, roaming and preparation for SEPA integration show Ukraine is not on the edge of Europe, but already becoming part of its core. Our cooperation deepens every day, from administrative reform and decentralized governance to cross-border health protection. Ukraine is aligning with EU standards and institutions. In defense, this is again a part of the accelerated integration. Our collaboration has taken a new dimension. The EU Defense Innovation Office in Kiev, ongoing joint deliveries, and Ukrainian companies joining the European Defence Fund. These are steps of real strategic partnership. And in space, we proudly welcome Ukraine's participation in the EU space programme, including the Copernicus Earth Observation Initiative. On employment and social policy, Ukraine's integration into the European Social Fund Plus represents a commitment to social justice and economic opportunity for all Ukrainians. On the Ukrainian path to EU membership, the progress is undeniable. The screening of 3 negotiating clusters is already complete, with our ambition clear. Yes, Mr. Prime Minister, it is possible to open all clusters by 2025, meaning this year. This is, and I would like to stress, not a bureaucratic process. It is a national transformation, and the EU is proud to walk this path with Ukraine. EU membership is much more than just single market. It is important security guarantee for Ukraine, as well as an anchor to democracy, rule of law, and high standards. It is joining the community of European values and principles. To sum this up, the European Union is not simply supporting Ukraine. We are investing in our shared future. And investing in Ukraine's resilience is investing in European security. Rebuilding Ukraine means rebuilding prosperity for our entire continent, and empowering Ukrainians means strengthening, if I may a bit romantic, the soul of Europe. And the road ahead is not easy, but is the one we will walk together also in the future.
Thank you so much. We'll start with your questions, and we'll start with the Prime Minister, who needs to leave very rapidly, so we'll give priority. I'll take one question for the Prime Minister. Please, the floor is yours.
Dmytro Shkurko, National News Agency of Ukraine. I'm speaking Ukrainian if possible. Пане прем'єр-міністр, які шляхи Україна бачить для того, щоб замінити якимось чином автономні заходи торгівлі Європейського Союзу, які добігають кінця цього літа? І взагалі, чи після завершення цих автономних заходів, чи вдасться зберегти той самий темп і обсяг торгівлі між Україною і Європейським Союзом? Дякую.
Дякую за ваше питання. Воно дійсно надзвичайно актуально в Україні, особливо для малого середнього бізнесу, який сьогодні має відповідні контракти з європейськими партнерами. Ми велику увагу приділили цьому питанню. На всіх рівнях проговорили важливість продовження автономних торгових заходів до кінця цього року, хоча б для того, щоб встигнути внести відповідні зміни в 29 статтю Угоди про асоціацію і закріпити ці автономні торгові заходи, які дозволяють нам фактично безмитну торгівлю. І вже сьогодні ми інтегровані в європейський ринок. Ми, звісно ж, надзвичайно так прагматично розмовляємо з нашими європейськими партнерами і розуміємо свій рівень відповідальності. У нас станом на сьогодні запроваджені певні обмеження постановами Кабінету міністрів України, певна верифікація. Ми готові зберігати і домовлятися з нашими партнерами, з Європейською комісією для того, щоб зберігти, власне, той рівень кооперації, який існує станом на сьогодні, продовжити його і далі імплементувати його в угоду. Тому ми оптимістично дивимося на це. Партнери нас дуже добре чують, партнери розуміють потребу України, і ми вдячні за таку дійсно конструктивну, дуже глибоку співпрацю і розуміння.
Thank you very much. We'll take one more question for European media for the Prime Minister. Lily.
if I could combine with the other speakers, if that's okay. First of all, Prime Minister, could you perhaps provide us with an update on negotiations with the United States on the minerals deal? What are Ukraine's red lines at this stage, and what is your vision for the agreement? And if I may also, Hungary has launched a campaign against Ukraine's accession process. How do you see that campaign, and do you think it's possible for Ukraine to continue progressing toward membership given this context? And then for the High Representative, what are the obstacles for getting to 2 million rounds this year? And given what you mentioned about continued Russian attacks on Ukraine, do you think it's useful that the US and Russia are continuing their negotiating process? And then for the Commissioner, just to follow up, are you in touch with your Hungarian colleagues about their campaign against Ukrainian accession, and what is your message to the Hungarian government? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So thank you so much for your question. So we are now in negotiations with the United States about mineral agreement, so-named mineral agreement. In fact, this is agreement about launching of the investment fund. We really have some red lines. First of all, this is our constitution. Second, this is our European aspirations and our European obligations. So this is another one red line. International legislation. We also understand that it should be partnership agreement, so on the equal conditions for both sides. As for now, Ukraine are forming special delegation on the technical level. We also cooperate with international lawyer companies, and we will send our delegation together with our lawyer to United States in the end of this week. And I think that technical negotiations will go through this weekend, next week. Then we'll see the results. After this negotiations, we are quite optimistic because we should find solution how to make this agreement partnership agreement in direct, so literally, I mean literally. And I believe that technical teams will have a good cooperation. About your second question, we hope that European member states, European members will find consensus, will find solution how to implement all needed decisions. From our side, we do our best and implement all needed reforms and steps, including all the reforms and legislation for the national minorities, where Hungary have the biggest questions. So now we implement all needed legislation, and we count on absolutely clear decisions of European Union and European member states. Thank you so much.
So,
I will listen.
okay, good. I thought that you're in a hurry. So I don't mind if you leave, but I can. I mean, I know the times are very intense for you here. On your question on the 2 million rounds initiative. So the good thing is that things are moving. We are seeing different member states coming up with their announcement for the rounds. So recently we have France announced 2 billion euros. Germany pledged 12 billion over next year. Sweden pledged 1.4 billion. Belgium today, or was it yesterday, announced 1 billion. So altogether, we are already, calculating it's providing over 50% of this Ukraine ammunition needs this year. But of course, it's 50%, so we still need to work on that. What is the main obstacle? Main obstacle is, of course, money, the funding. We have done the rearm and given the possibilities and fiscal also possibilities to do this, but it's up to the member states to make the decisions. Then on your second question on the U.S. and Russian negotiation process. So I mean, it takes two to want peace, but it only takes one to want war. And this is clearly what we see right now, that Russia wants war and continues with these attacks that are horrendous and more serious than ever, attacking children directly when, no military buildings or military organizations around by attacking this civilian population. So, therefore, Russia is clearly showing that they don't want peace. Now, the question is, what are we doing about this? And I think the right answer is to really put the pressure on the one who wants war, which is Russia, for them to actually want peace. Thank you.
The Commission is fully committed to enlargement, and this is one of the priorities of the mandate. And the Commission has until now delivered the fastest screening process ever. We are over the half at this part of the year, and as I have said before, the process should be finalized in autumn. And when I speak about the enlargement, Ukraine is a candidate country. Yes, we speak to the representatives of the Hungarian government, and we expect that all sides involved will show good faith and willingness to reach the compromise. As you know, the accession process consists of many steps. There is a technical part where the European Commission can deliver a lot, meaning preparing that the screenings in the sense that all the clusters could be open in this year. But for opening the specific cluster, there is the Council decision, and there is now a consensus among 26 EU member states to move ahead to open negotiations on Cluster 1 with Ukraine.
Thank you. We move in the room. Jorge.
Hello, Jorge Liboreiro with Euronews. Two questions for the High Representative. I wonder if I could have your reaction to the developments that we heard yesterday from President Zelensky. He informed that the army had captured 2 Chinese citizens fighting alongside the Russian army inside Ukraine. They suspect other Chinese citizens might be involved in the war as well. What's your reaction to that? Because it's obviously very concerning. And how do you think it could impact EU-China relations in this moment that both sides are trying to work closer on trade? And for Commissioner Kos, going back to the minerals deal, we've seen the draft versions of this deal that are very maximalist, that give the United States privileged access to the Ukrainian market. Are you concerned about the possible impact that the deal may have on Ukraine's EU accession, that Ukraine might be one day forced to choose between the two things? Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, we heard the news, and of course we had the discussions also with Prime Minister Shmyhal about this and asked, what do we know about this? Of course, it doesn't mean that the Chinese army is involved, but of course they can share the information that they know about this. What is clear is that China is the key enabler of Russia's war. Without Chinese support, Russia wouldn't be able to wage the war in the amount that they are waging this. So we see that 80% of the dual-use goods are actually entering Russia via China. We also see the North Korean troops present in Ukraine, and the military equipment coming from North Korea to Ukraine, to Russia, and to fight the war against Ukraine. So it's clearly that if China would want to really stop the support, then it would have an impact.
Thank you.
The European Commission will support any deal that will be in the interest of Ukraine. Today we have been talking about, and we also got many confirmations that Ukraine will stay on the European path. So I don't see the danger, and more the enlargement process is being seen as a security guarantee for Ukraine. And all this together means that for sure we will discuss everything what will be going on with the US also in the scope of the enlargement process.
Thank you. Stefan?
Yes, Stefan Isser for Europe Table, probably it's for Commissioner Kos. My question is whether you discussed trade liberalization in the context of the association agreement, especially in the context that, in the view that temporary tariffs will reductions will expire at the beginning, I think, of June. So, what do you have a solution there so that these reductions can continue? Thank you.
We have started to discuss about this, and after the press conference, I have a bilateral meeting with the Prime Minister Shmyhal, and we will be talking about this topic later on. But of course, it is in both interests that we enable the European Union and Ukraine to have the best possible economic relations, and in this scope, we will then discuss further on about the ATMs and Article 29.
Thank you. Two more questions. Yes, please.
Hello, Paula Tama with the Financial Times. One question for Commissioner Kos. In the proposed U.S. mineral deal, there are certain parts which run counter the EU acquis. That's the right of first offer, the right of the U.S. to veto Ukraine from offering partnerships or investment opportunities to anybody else. Are you concerned that the product of these negotiations could create problems for Ukraine in its succession path? And on the ATM, to whichever of you wants to reply, they expire on the 5th of June. When can we expect a proposal for either an extension or a start of negotiations under Article 29? Thank you.
I have already answered the first question a few seconds back, and according to the ATMs, so we will now be talking extensively about what the kind of possibilities, but for sure the European Commission will bring the solution before the extension of, before the ending of the ATMs.
Thank you. One last question. David.
Thank you, David Carretta, Radio Radicale, Italian Radio. If I may follow up on the China issue, we have seen the readout of the President conversation yesterday with the Chinese Premier Li Keqiang, asking him to engage for a peace solution, but in the readout there were no mention of China as enabler of Russia war, key enabler. I'm wondering if there is a trade-off here. Cooperation with China in front of the trade war of Mr. Trump on one side, and on the other side the issue of Russian war. And if you are ready for such a trade-off. Thank you.
These are very difficult times that we are living. We see United States and China really having this immense trade war. And of course, what we see around the world is that everybody's looking for new trade partners. When it comes to Europe, then I think 87% of the partners, or 87% of the global trade is with third countries. So that is the picture. Of course, everybody wants to diversify their portfolios. It is clear that China has been the key enabler of Russia's war of aggression. NATO has stated this also in their statements. Now the question is how are we getting this message across? China definitely wants to have good trading relations with Europe, as we are a very big market. We don't want the overcapacities to our market, and at the same time we want this war to stop. That also requires cooperation from the Chinese side. So this is the theater where we have to operate and find the solutions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. This concludes our press conference. Thank you, High Representative. Thank you, Commissioner. Have a nice evening.
Thank you.